Ascension is energetic sovereignty, not spiritual escape. This chapter shows how authenticity and conscious rebellion raise frequency in real time, and why rejecting apathy, ego, addiction, and false unity is what actually allows you to jump dimensions.
Chapter 8: Frequency Jumping. Let's be honest, this whole ascension business can sound a little out there. That said, jumping dimensions isn't about floating off the planet in some glitter-dusted trance. It's about mastering your energy so precisely, so purposefully, that you refuse to be dragged down by low-density nonsense. Here are some unapologetic tools to navigate the dimensional landscape and rise into your highest state of clarity, creativity, and conscious rebellion. Frequency Jump 1. Stay in sync. Passion, joy, creation. These are not abstract concepts. They're sacred states of alignment. When you're in sync with them, you're in sync with Source. That's godliness. That's sovereignty. Every time you create something from nothing, you are echoing the blueprint of the universe itself. Whether you're designing toenail art, polishing rocks into gems, writing a novel, cooking from instinct, or dreaming up ways to serve others, you are the infinite current. You are not just a consumer, you are a creator. The problem? Too many people have been shamed out of their creative birthright. Maybe a second-grade teacher sneered at your wobbly tree sketch. Maybe someone told you dancing was frivolous. Maybe the system convinced you to chase productivity over passion. That ends now. You are creative. Your true self is wired for it. If you've forgotten, it's only because you've been buried under the rubble of conformity, obligation, and judgment. It's time to dig yourself out. Start with what lights you up. Follow the trail of your own curiosity. What fascinates you? What makes your heart beat louder? What could you lose hours doing without watching the clock? That's the frequency of your soul trying to pull you out of the 3D muck. Yes, passion, vibration, and creativity are intimately linked. Raise one, and the others follow. Raise all three, and you are rewriting your reality. Frequency Jump 2. Swap this for apathy. Who gave anyone the right to sit on the sidelines while the world is on fire? We are in a battle, energetically, spiritually, and psychologically, for the soul of humanity. Yet millions are still hiding out in their comfortable bubbles, sipping their lattes, pretending nothing's wrong, hoping someone else will fix it. That someone else will take the risk, speak the truth, question the system, expose the fraud, carry the burden, bleed on the front lines. How about a simple, cold truth? It's not okay to let 2% of the people do 98% of the heavy lifting. That karmic debt doesn't just disappear. If you're coasting while others are rising, it will catch up with you. Inaction is not neutrality, it is a choice. In this dimensional split we're in, that choice speaks volumes about your frequency. I'm not talking about feel-good performances of charity. Buying Girl Scout cookies doesn't count. Booking a table at some ritzy philanthropic gala where 80% of the proceeds go to the marketing agency? Still not it. Even feeding the poor, while noble and necessary, is not what I'm pointing out here. What's required now is razor-sharp perception and the courage to speak the truth as you see it. That is authenticity. Not performance, not politeness, not parroting what's acceptable. Authenticity is the raw, unfiltered alignment of your inner knowing with your outer voice. Most people are secretly terrified of authenticity. They fear being disliked, rejected, or targeted. Yet the cost of staying silent is far higher. The weight of suppressing your truth, of playing nice while your insides are being hollowed out, drags you into density. It chokes your light and chains your spirit. It brings on dissatisfaction and illness. That's what keeps you stuck in 3D. Claiming authenticity lifts you, even if it's clumsy at first, even if it costs you friendships, jobs, or family approval. The more you live in integrity with your core, the more you speak your own language, stand in your own shoes, and walk the walk with courage, kindness, and conviction, the stronger you become. The more you become. That is the fast lane to 5D. Because 5D isn't a place, it's a frequency, not an escape pod. It's a conscious choice to burn brighter, rise higher, and stop playing small. It's a knowing, a fierce, untouchable clarity. It's the refusal to betray your own soul, even when everyone around you is still asleep. In 5D, you don't weigh every action against fear. You don't agonize over whether to say what needs to be said. You are the action. You are the light. You are the frequency others feel, even if they can't name it. You're no longer bogged down by petty dramas, social theater, or manufactured fear. You become a force that doesn't apologize for existing. If you feel apathetic or disconnected, swap it for authenticity, for discernment, for action, for unapologetic truth. That's how you jump dimensions. Frequency jump 3. Eradicate ego. I have an excellent tool for ego that I haven't discussed yet. It works beautifully, like magic. What is it? Take the word I out of your vocabulary. Yes, that's right. Try it for just one day. Every time you are about to say I, substitute we. Not in a fake way, not in a way that erases personal identity. Instead, do it in a way that expands consciousness. Believe me, it works. The shift happens faster than you'd expect. Things start to feel lighter, less charged, less personal, less sticky. You stop looping in your own story and start recognizing the collective symphony we're all part of. As you drop I from your speech, you will literally feel yourself rising. It's subtle but unmistakable, like a helium lift in your chest, a release of some invisible burden you didn't even know you were dragging. You start to float into upper dimensional awareness, not because you're dissociating, but because you're expanding. You're stepping out of the cage of personal identity and into the field of interconnectedness. That shift is a dimensional jump. You can actually break out of the egoic mind in just 24 hours. You don't need to chant mantras in a cave. Just stop saying I. It's like giving up sugar. The first couple of days are rough. You feel the absence like a ghost limb. You don't even realize how often I dominates your vocabulary until you try to eliminate it. Yet once you do, the cravings vanish, the hold dissolves, the system rewires. Until, of course, you taste it again. Then the pull starts to sneak back in. The good news? It's a quick turnaround. You now know how to shift it. You've glimpsed another way of being, and once you've had that taste, you can return anytime. Don't use the word I, and see what happens. For those of you flipping pages and thinking, hey, wait a minute, you're using I right now. Well, you're absolutely right. Sometimes I serves a purpose, especially when relaying personal experience in service of something larger. That's what this book is doing. It's not to spotlight the self, but to connect through it, to show you what's possible by reflecting lived authenticity. The truth is, in conversations, in everyday moments, in group exchanges, we is the portal. We shifts the tone. We dissolves the hierarchy. We reminds us that we're not solo satellites trying to outrun each other in orbit. We are nodes in the same intelligence. When we speak from that place, we access something far bigger than any one voice. Try it. Not because it's trendy or spiritual. Do it because it's practical, dimensional alchemy. Drop the ego and watch your frequency lift. Frequency jump 4. Identify your real goal. When people see you doing good work, they often say, that's creating really good karma for you. I'll smile, nod, and respond, "That's great. How nice." The truth is, I'm not doing it for karma. I'm not stacking spiritual brownie points. I'm not angling for some cosmic reward or insurance policy for the next life. I do it because someone needs attention in that moment, because the world needs truth. Raw, unfiltered, unpopular truth spoken aloud. I act because something needs doing and no one else is stepping up. That's the real goal, to respond to what is needed, not what will make you look good, feel spiritual, or be praised. The ego loves to masquerade as goodness when it's really after validation. But the soul acts because it must. No fanfare, no waiting for credit, just motion toward coherence. Jane says, I wonder if that's something ingrained. I say, I don't know where it comes from exactly. Maybe it's a soul memory. Maybe it's bloodline. Or maybe it's just the result of being raised by people who lived according to the golden rule and expected you to be a kind and decent being. Wherever it originates, the action doesn't come from calculation or moral math. It comes from inner alignment. It needs to be done, so you do it, period. You're not performing for karma or to be seen or to impress some heavenly ledger keeper. You're acting in rhythm with your own knowing. Jane says, the vast majority of people, in my opinion, don't do that. They've got to learn these things. They've got to learn because the childhood trauma happens so young that they move into a defensive, subconscious, fear-based behavior where they're always watching their backs, shielding their hearts, and making moves for safety instead of truth. Whereas you skip that through your very different upbringing. I say, my mom had the plaque in the bathroom growing up. It was the golden rule from Jesus. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. It wasn't just a nice saying. It was the answer to virtually everything. That was our moral compass. That was the default. When I respond to something, it's not complicated. I just ask, what would I want someone to do if I were on the other side of this? Then I do that. No grand deliberation, no performative virtue. It's instinctual now, a rhythm, a way of walking through the world with integrity that doesn't require overthinking. That's the real dimensional upgrade, the rebel upgrade. Not thinking about how to be good, but being it, because it is how I would want myself or one of my loved ones to be treated. Frequency jump 5. Release trauma consciousness. We have to rise out of trauma consciousness if we want to jump dimensions. There's just no way around it. This doesn't mean denying the existence of trauma. It means refusing to build your identity around it. Trauma is real, but so is your capacity to transcend it. What keeps so many stuck in 3D isn't just the trauma itself, but the attachment to it. The looping stories, the habitual excuses, the refusal to release the identity that was forged in suffering. That's what 3D is. It's not just a place or a state of consciousness. It's a trapdoor of justification. It's the voice that says, I was abandoned, I was betrayed, I was silenced, so now I get to numb out, lash out, shut down, or stay small. That's not healing, that's hiding. I want to be clear. We're not talking here about deep, acute trauma that legitimately requires years of conscious support and processing. That kind of pain deserves tenderness and careful attention. What I am calling out is the culture of perpetual trauma as an identity badge. Trauma porn, as I mentioned earlier in the book. The, oh well, I was wounded as a child mentality that becomes a lifelong permission slip to eat junk, treat others poorly, avoid truth, and never take full responsibility for your impact. That's the kind of trauma consciousness that anchors you in the density. That's what binds you to 3D. Let's be honest. Everyone has been traumatized. Everyone. Maybe not to the same extent. Maybe not in the same exact way. None of us got out of childhood or adulthood without emotional bruises. If you're here on this planet, in this time, in this body, it's because your soul signed up for the school of experience. You were put into this life on purpose, not to crumble, instead to rise. The real question is, are you going to let the trauma define you? Or are you going to turn it into firewood? Are you going to use it as a reason to spiral downward, or as the very material you use to build your wings?
Thank you for listening to this excerpt. This concludes Phase 1 of Unleashing the Rebel Within. The next phase may feel different, sharper, confronting. That's because Phase 2 dives into the core distortions of our modern world and the systematic suppression of human sovereignty. The tone shifts for a reason. The illusions must crack before clarity can rise. Thank you for listening to this excerpt.